Alrighty.
Well, yeah, that was an ass kicking. Not at all what we expected. 30 to 13. Couldn't really ever get anything going. Gino obviously getting hurt really put a wrench into the plans of coming back in that game from being down early. Sam Howell just got beaten up back there. I don't. He just
Yeah,
didn't look like even the quarterback we saw in Washington. He just looked like lifeless out there.
he looks like a
Um,
guy that's been playing like Candy Crush on his phone on the bench all season. Because I mean, and I'm not just trying to shit on Sam Howell, but he looked very not ready. And I know it's not a fair comparison to make, but do you remember when Russ got hurt 3 years ago and Geno came in for the first time and we were like, all right, let's see what Geno Smith does. And then he leads a 90-yard touchdown like immediately.
mhm.
I guess I had that like extremely unrealistic hope that Sam would do that same thing for us, and yeah, that certainly didn't happen. I think let's look at the total stats for him. 5 for 14 for 24 yards and a pick, and probably could have had two more. Got sacked 3 times, I think. But this game, no one should look at this game and be like, "Oh, Sam Howell is the reason why we lost." The Seahawks are the reason why they lost. You start the game off with Josh Jacobs just getting like anything he wants. The entire first drive is Jacobs, 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 Jacobs touchdown. And that just
Mhm.
kind of set the tone for this whole thing. I felt like when Gino was in there, we were moving the ball okay.
Well,
We
we
didn't.
didn't. Sorry, I just wanted to know we didn't even try to run the ball that much.
No, and what was really mystifying is how after Gino got hurt, we just were like, okay, no more running the ball. Let's put the entire game on Sam Howell's back. And like the one time I can really remember us running the ball was the Charbonnet touchdown
Hmm.
uh, when Sam was in there. So just, yeah, really, really mystifying strategy to abandon the run there because it's like, even if you run and you get 3 yards, like at least we're 2nd and 7 and not just,
Well, and
trying to
you
make
mentioned
seventh
you
happen.
mentioned during the game why isn't Ryan Grubb drawing up easier like layups for Sam Howell? And it's like part of that is also scheming in more run plays
Yeah,
because
exactly.
he's a
Or like
backup.
I mean, like we tried a bubble screen to JSN pretty early on when Sam came into the game, but again, like everyone in the world knew, okay, JSN's on the inside on trips right, like probably gonna go to him immediately. Not hard to expect that with the backup quarterback, and so the Packers were all over it. But yeah, I don't get. I mean, Charbonnet finishes the night with just 8 carries.
Hmm.
And I mean that's for six, almost 7 yards a touch too. So I got to be honest, man. I started to get my hopes up for bigger and better things for the postseason for this squad, and it's not over yet. We could still win out, get to 11-6, and get everything we want out of the season.
Hmm.
But if this Geno injury is long term, I think the best thing for this team long term, like this season and beyond, could be to just finish 9-8, 10-6, or ten and
I
seven or
agree.
so, and
Yeah.
maybe not make the playoffs. And in turn, with doing that, move on from Ryan Grubb because I I just don't think he's been that good this year. And as you were mentioning, him not adjusting to Howell being out is just another example of like I feel like he's not understanding the flow of the game all that well at the NFL level. And the only reason why I'm abandoning him so early is because there's a chance someone like Mike McDaniel from Miami gets fired. Mike McCarthy could get fired from Dallas. Both of those could be an OC hire, not a head coach, obviously. But there's a ton of guys that are going to be out there this offseason potentially for the offensive coordinator position. So
I'm kind of surprised that you feel this way. I don't feel like I'm ready to move on from Grubb personally. It's
I
also his
just
first
think,
year in the NFL. I think um, being critical on him not being able to adjust. I don't know. I would like to maybe give him another year to see how things play out with him because I think he's shown signs of good game plan with certain going into some games. And I don't know. I felt like our center going down early kind of hurt
Oh, I
us.
I honestly forgot that even happened. So many things happened bad in this game, and that was so early. I forgot that even happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that definitely wasn't good. And look, I know the line has been a huge problem this whole season, and it's limiting what he can do. But being objective, the Shane Waldron offense was better than this. It just was. It had better numbers and more points scored. So and Shane Waldron is fired. So I don't think we're getting all that much out of this offense right now, and it's not all his fault. The only reason why I really bring that up is just I think there's a good chance you could do better this offseason is really the point I'm trying to make, but we'll see. Um, but yeah, I mean, I honestly feel like the most disappointing thing about this game, one, the Geno red zone interception was just so like such a kick in the balls when that's been a problem really going back the last two seasons that like there's no bigger of a killer mistake you can make as a quarterback than I think a red zone interception. And at that point in the game, like we're down pretty big, but we have a chance to make it a one score game there. And even if you don't get the touchdown, like cutting it to a 10-point game is so much better than that. And then the Packers immediately went down and kicked the field goal off of that. And it almost really felt like that was the game there because Gino got hurt shortly after that.
It kind of
But
reminded me of like a our starts against like the Niners in recent
yeah,
years. Like
eerily similar.
we just dug ourselves such a deep hole early that there was kind of it was just playing unlikely catch up the rest of the night.
Yeah, and like again, and I know we've talked about it a few times this season, but man, the home mystique of Lumen Field and the crowd is such a thing of the past. Like it never felt like we had a chance in this game, honestly. Like just the vibe of it, like you didn't really hear the crowd rocking too much. It seems like there was a shitload of Packers fans at the game.
Hmm.
It's just tough to see. But the way I thought Mike McDonald did a really good job adjusting on defense in the second half. Um, Looking at just the box score, the second half of this game was a tie game. Both teams got 10 points, and the only touchdown the Packers got was an insane catch by Dobbs that I still can't believe he did that. That just, great play. Didn't necessarily think it was bad defense. But the way they started out on defense was just so disheartening. After putting together four, really five good performances consecutively on defense, then to just come out so flat and soft in such a big moment in prime time at home, that just sucked to see. But really, I feel like the story of this game is, the self-inflicted wounds, as you said, and then Gino going down because I think nothing else has proved his value to this team other than seeing what happens when he's out of there.
Well, also not to mention, I mean, Gino has the ups and downs. We saw the downs, but usually in games like this, he has his downs and then he brings us back with his upside.
Yeah.
So we didn't get a chance to get any of that upside because we got the downside, then he got injured. So then we got seemingly underprepared Sam Howell for the role, and it just was a moment too big.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have been surprised if Gino didn't get hurt in this game if he went for 300 yards because through basically two quarters he had 150 and so there were some plays left out there. I felt like Brock Heward has said that Gino plays his best football immediately after he throws a pick, and I think that's kind of true. That's what I've noticed about him when he gets fired up. Um, and it's a shame we were robbed of that, but it's hard to think that it would have changed the outcome of this game. I mean, maybe,
Yeah,
but
I'm not necessarily saying that, but not that you're saying that I am. I'm just, yeah, I would have assumed based on what I've seen from Gino this season that he would have come out and been firing on all cylinders.
I think we would have been more on our edge of our seat till the last minute if he didn't get hurt for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I feel like the reality is, this was our like definitive measuring stick on can we be a contender this season. We got a top tier NFC team coming to our house mid-December, everything on the line, and we got crushed. So
Yeah.
it's okay. I mean, we're just not there yet. We don't have the guys yet. We don't have the firepower. We have a lot of good players. We don't have enough great players. So,
Hmm.
the season's not over. I hope we can still find our way in the playoffs and maybe win on wild card weekend. But I think that's the ceiling of this team, and that's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Agreed. Yeah. One more thing going back to the Ryan Grubb conversation. Not that I want to keep talking about this, but um so you don't think like as far as the involvement of JSN and the way we've used him in the playbook, like what are your thoughts on that? Because like we saw the way he was utilized last year by Shane Waldron, and it was objectively just, I mean, the comparisons are night and day.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it's not like it's all bad with Grubb. We have passed the ball for the most part pretty well. We've just been horrible in the run game, and I think especially in short yardage situations, his play calling has been very suspect this year. Think back to the Jets game where, we're like first and goal on the half-yard line, and we get a penalty, and we come away with no points. I don't know, man. I mean, like, I'm not saying like I for sure want us to move on from him. I'm just saying like if someone like Mike McDaniel is available, you just have to move on from him because he's a far superior coordinator right now, and I don't think this roster is all that far away from getting a chance to go on a serious run. And I think if you have someone out there with a better pedigree and more experience, it's the better move to make. But it's not like I'm dead set on that. That's just kind of where I'm at right now.
See, I kind of worry about a Mike McDaniel coming in here because, I mean, his team that he's coaching now is all finesse and speed. I don't really think of the Dolphins as a physical team. Do you?
Yeah, but it's not like he's going to be in charge of the whole operation. He's just, calling plays. So I don't know. I just I don't know. I'm just not very moved overall by what we've seen out of Grubb. Like I feel like he had an amazing game against the Lions, and then since then it's been very just a lot of moments of genuine frustration watching this team and some of the decisions that get made
Yeah, but I don't know.
schematically.
I felt really good about our team a week ago. So,
I've felt this way kind of the whole season. I just haven't been saying it yet.
yeah.
But
Well,
again, that's just my take. Doesn't
it's
doesn't
fair.
mean a whole lot other than that, but that's just kind of where I'm at.
This is like the first real disagreement on JR takes, I feel like.
Well, it's good. I mean, it'd be boring if we were just like, I agree with everything all the time. So
We should like next episode, I should come up with a bunch of like reasons why we should keep Grubb, and you should come up with a
the
bunch of reasons
great
why we should fire him.
the great grub debate. Yeah, that could be fun.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, I mean, not a whole lot more to say about this game. The Ernest Jones forced fumble was fun. I don't think we didn't get a single sack on Jordan Love tonight, which is gross. He was way too comfortable back there. But it when you run the ball with such ease like the Packers did, I mean, now that I'm looking at it, we actually held Jacobs to 3.6 yards a carry. So, all things considered, that's not a bad performance, but they just ran so much against us.
I found it mystifying we only ran the ball with Charbonnet 8 times.
That was a giant mistake.
That's I mean, you look at box scores of teams that need to run the ball to make their schematics work on both offense and defense. Like look at the Ravens last year in the AFC Championship game. They were like one of the best rushing teams last year. They just run the ball around, I think it was 6 times with Gus
Yeah,
Edwards and lost the game. Like I don't understand why teams when they get down by like one score They're like, okay, no more running. We're just gonna pass the rest of the game.
Yeah, I would love for us to just get like the two best run blocking guards available in the draft this offseason or free agency, whatever it takes, because we need to have the ability to impose our will on teams. And, I've liked some stuff we've seen at Laumea. I think Tomlinson is going to be a 1 year deal at left guard. But I just feel like right now, unless we're playing the Cardinals, like we can't do that. Like we're physically incapable of moving a team, and it's making things so difficult. That doesn't mean we should run Charbonnet 8 times and 8 times only. That's a huge mistake in my opinion. But it's been an all season thing, not just this game. The
Well, especially when he
limitations.
almost has 7 yards of carry. It's like, wh what are we doing? Are you guys not looking up at the scoreboard? Because I've seen it, and they show passing yards, rushing yards. They show the box score up in the corner at the stadium.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, we just made that stop on defense. It's 23-13. We got the crowd roaring. And then they do pass, 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 interception. Like, what are we doing? Just like,
There's plenty of
even
time.
yeah, there was like 9 minutes left in the game. That's what was kind of getting me glued to my seat. I was like, okay, like this isn't that big of a comeback to make, and as a backup quarterback, you should have some plays in your bag. But yeah, it is what it is. Looking from a top-down view at the season right now, we had to win one of the two games between this Packers game and the Vikings and beat the Bears to make the Rams game really matter. It will probably matter no matter what, unless we lose our next two games. But we got no help from other teams this week. The Saints almost did us a huge favor, but the Rattlesnake rattled out just a little too short. Big
God
bummer.
damn it, Rattlesnake.
Brock Purdy chose the worst time of his life to be the dog shit quarterback that I claimed he was for 2 years. And now we're looking at a situation where we're not even in the playoff picture right now, and the Rams are at the top of the division. So we now have to beat the 10-2, 11-2 Vikings, whatever they are. And then
I don't think we have to. I think if we just win out our final two games, we're in, right?
there's a scenario where we do that, and I think because of like conference record or something, because the Rams already beat us, we'd be tied with the division with them and head to head, and it would go to conference record, and they have a better conference record than us. So I
So
think
we
we
need
do. We basically need to win out now. Is the cleanest path to controlling our own destiny in this thing. It's possible the Rams just lose their next two games, and this is really simple, but. Um, Things have not worked out around the league well for the Seahawks at all the last 2 weeks. Long story short. So it's not over. I just really hope Gino's okay because if he's not, like, it's going to be a tall task for Sammy Boy to beat one of the best teams in the league just 7 days from now.
Sam versus Sam. I'm ready for it. The battle of the
True.
backups. So the battle of the
Darnold
bastards. It's the
versus
battle of the
Howell.
backups.
Are we Ramsey in that situation or
No, we're Jon Snow. Are you
we're
kidding
Jon
me?
Snow? Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a really
Because no one,
stupid
no one
game
gave Sam
plan
Howell a
then.
chance, and I believe he used a bastard. His parents weren't married when they had him.
What makes you believe that?
For the sake of the story.
Okay. Well, I expect Sam to just throw himself at the entire defense and be saved by bad writing.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all I have for this one. It was a shitty outcome. Um,
The
but
only positive thing I have about this game is I had Jacobs in fantasy and he might have saved my ass in a couple leagues. But I'm not even like I would have rather us just win.
yeah, yeah.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this one.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll take a couple days off. We'll regroup. We'll come back stronger
yeah,
on Wednesday.
JR takes will be better for it.
We'll build our character.
All right. Well, we had a month straight of fun reaction videos. We were kind of due for one of these, but we got through it. We're live.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you made it this far, thanks for listening, and don't forget to click that subscribe button, and we'll see you later on this week.
Yes. Thanks for listening, guys. Catch you next time.
Later.